Rain hammered the roof of their suburban Seattle home, a relentless drumming that grated on Thomas Crawford's nerves. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of garlic and thyme. Tom had spent half the day slaving over the stove, grilling steaks and roasting potatoes. The dining room table was decked out like some fancy-ass restaurant. Crisp white tablecloth, flickering candles in glass holders, a bottle of Pinot Noir they'd been saving for a special night. Tonight was their 10th anniversary. 10 damn years with Angela. 10 years of ups and downs, fights that shook the walls, and promises he'd convinced himself still meant something. He wanted this night to be perfect, a reset button on the slow drift they'd been stuck in. She sat across from him, wearing that black dress he'd gotten her last Christmas, the one with the plunging neckline that used to drive him crazy. Her dark hair spilled over her shoulders, but her eyes, sharp, hazel, usually full of fire, looked dead tonight, staring past him like he was a ghost. He'd noticed it earlier, when she'd barely touched her coffee at breakfast, just gazing out the window at the gray drizzle. He chalked it up to her job. Marketing gigs at that swanky agency downtown had been running her ragged. Late nights, snappy texts, her bitching at him when shit hit the fan. He'd gotten used to it. Mostly. "You okay?" he asked, pouring the wine. His voice came out too soft, almost needy, and he hated it. She didn't answer, just gave a half-assed nod, picking at the edge of her napkin with those blood-red nails. He forced a grin, but it felt lopsided, fake. "Come on, Ange, let's not do this tonight. It's our damn anniversary." Her eyes flicked up, and something cold flashed in them, something that wasn't her. Her phone buzzed on the table, and she snatched it up faster than a cat on a mouse. Silence stretched out, heavy and suffocating, like the fog rolling in off Puget Sound. He waited, sipping his wine, but she didn't put the damn thing down. She just stared at it, thumbs hovering over the screen. Then, in a whisper that hit like a sucker punch, she said, "I need a break." The words slammed into him, knocking the air out of his chest. He froze, wineglass halfway to his lips, a drop spilling onto the tablecloth like blood. His heart jackhammered, mind racing. What the hell did she mean? A break from dinner? From him? From them? He stared at her, begging her to look at him, but she kept her eyes glued to that fucking phone like it was her lifeline. "What?" he croaked, voice cracking like a teenager's. "A break from what, Angela? It's our—" "I can't." She cut him off, finally meeting his gaze. Her face was pale, lips trembling, but her tone was steel. "I can't keep doing this. I need space. Time. Whatever, just not this." She shoved her chair back, the screech of wood on hardwood slicing through the quiet. He watched, numb, as she grabbed her coat from the rack by the door, her movements jerky, robotic. The steaks sat cold on their plates, candles spitting shadows across the walls. The front door slammed, rattling the windows, and she was gone, swallowed by the rain and the dark. He sat there, maybe minutes, maybe hours, time blurring into a haze. Then his phone lit up, a text from her. One word, "Sorry." That was it. He stumbled to the window, peering out as her silhouette faded into the storm. His burner buzzed again. Mason, his co-worker, slurring through a shitty connection. "Dude, saw Ange at the gym today. She was all over some rip trainer guy. Thought you should know." Tom's gut twisted. He didn't know it yet, but that text, that night, was the match that had set their whole damn world on fire. Tom didn't sleep that night. The rain kept pounding the house, a relentless beat that matched the throb in his skull. Angela's chair sat empty across from him, the half-eaten steak on her plate turning gray under the dim chandelier. Her text, "Sorry," glowed on his phone screen like a taunt. Mason's call kept replaying in his head, that drunk-ass laugh cutting through. All over some ripped trainer guy. Bullshit. No way. Not Angela. She was his wife, smart, gorgeous, the woman who'd stuck with him through 10 years of his workaholic crap. But the doubt was there now, a splinter under his skin, and it wouldn't let go. He paced the living room, hardwood creaking under his socks. Memories of their fights crashed in like waves. Her screaming at him for missing dinner again, him chucking a plate against the wall when she called him a cold bastard. They'd patched it up every time, hadn't they? Sex, apologies, a weekend away in Portland. But lately, she'd been distant, snapping at him over nothing, locking herself in the bathroom with her phone. He'd figured it was stress. Now, Mason's words made it feel like something else. By morning, she still wasn't back. No calls, no texts, just that damn sorry mocking him. He couldn't sit still. His architect brain needed answers, blueprints for what the hell was happening. He started with her stuff. Her purse was slung over the couch arm, unzipped like she'd left in a hurry. He hesitated, then dug in. Wallet, keys, a crumpled receipt from some coffee joint downtown. Then, tucked in a side pocket, a Polaroid. Angela laughing, her arm around a guy with a gym bro build, all tan skin and cocky grin. No date, no note, just them, too close. His stomach lurched. He tossed the photo on the coffee table, hands shaking. Could have been old, right? Some friend from her spin class? But Mason's voice wouldn't shut up. All over him. Tom grabbed his phone, dialed her. It rang twice before she picked up. Her voice clipped, annoyed. What, Tom? Where are you? He demanded, pacing again. Rain streaked the windows, blurring the world outside. Out. I told you I needed space. She sounded pissed, like he was the problem. Space from what? It's our fucking anniversary, Ange. You don't just walk out. Stop it. She snapped, loud enough to make him flinch. You don't get it, do you? I'm suffocating. You're never here. And when you are, you're checked out. I can't breathe with you. Her words hit like a brick. He gripped the phone tighter, jaw clenched. So you ditch me? That's your fix. She didn't answer. Just a long, heavy silence. Then a muffled sound. Someone laughing in the background. A guy. His blood ran cold. Who's with you? Nobody, she lied, too quick. I'm hanging up. The line went dead. He stared at the phone, chest heaving. She was lying. He knew it in his bones. That laugh wasn't nobody. It was somebody. The trainer? Some asshole she'd run to instead of him? He hurled the phone across the room. It smashed into the fireplace, screen cracking like his damn sanity. He needed proof. No more guessing games. Back in their bedroom, he yanked open her nightstand drawer. Lipstick, a sleep mask, nothing useful. Then he saw it. Her old laptop, shoved under a pile of scarves. She thought he didn't know the password. Her sister's birthday. He booted it up, hands sweaty, and clicked her email. Inbox loaded, and there it was, a thread with Jake. Subject, last night was fun. Sent 2 days ago. Tom's vision blurred. He clicked it open, and the first line gutted him. Can't wait to get out of that house. He's clueless. The splinter turned into a fucking knife. Tom's hands shook as he stared at the laptop screen. Angela's email burning into his retinas. He's clueless. The words looped in his head. A taunt from her, and this Jake asshole. He scrolled down. More messages, flirty bullshit about sneaking away, and that spot by the pier. Dates lined up with nights she'd claimed she was working late. His chest tightened, a vice squeezing the air out of him. 10 years. 10 fucking years. And she'd been playing him like a chump. He slammed the laptop shut, the thud echoing in the empty bedroom. Rain still pounded outside, a gray curtain sealing him in with his rage. He couldn't just sit there. He needed more, something concrete to shove in her face. The house felt like a crime scene now, every corner hiding her lies. He remembered the security cam he'd installed last year after some break-ins down the street, motion activated, tucked above the garage. She'd bitched about it, called him paranoid. Now he wondered why. He grabbed his phone, cracked screen and all, and pulled up the app. Footage loaded, grainy but clear enough. Tuesday, 2:17 p.m., while he was at the office sketching blueprints. Angela unlocking the front door, a guy behind her. Tall, jacked, smirking like he owned the place. They stumbled inside, her hands on his chest, his grabbing her ass. The clip cut off as the door shut. Tom's stomach churned. He replayed it, frame by frame, watching her laugh. Carefree, alive, nothing like the ice queen she'd been with him lately. The guy, Jake, had to be, looked familiar. That gym bro vibe, the cocky tilt of his head. Mason's slurred warning clicked into place. The trainer. He'd seen her with him. Tom's fists clenched, nails digging into his palms. Blood roared in his ears, drowning out the rain. She came home that night, hours after the call. He heard the key in the lock, the soft creak of the door. He was in the kitchen, leaning against the counter, a whiskey glass sweating in his hand. She walked in, coat dripping, hair plastered to her face. Her eyes flicked to him, wary, like she knew something was off. Hey, she said, voice flat, tossing her purse on the island. Hey, he echoed, keeping it cool. He took a sip, letting the burn steady him. Where you been? Out. Like I said. She kicked off her boots, avoiding his gaze. I needed air. Air, he repeated, nodding slow. Funny. You look like you've been running through a storm with somebody. Her head snapped up, lips parting. What's that supposed to mean? He set the glass down, stepped closer. The air between them crackled, thick with unspoken shit. You tell me, Ange. Who's Jake? Her face went white, just for a second, before she masked it with a scoff. Jake? My trainer? Jesus, Tom, you're paranoid. She turned to the fridge, pulling out a water bottle, but her hands trembled. Paranoid. He laughed, bitter and low. I saw the emails. Saw him in our house. On our couch. She froze, bottle halfway to her mouth. The kitchen went dead quiet, just the hum of the fridge and the rain outside. Then she spun on him, eyes blazing. You're spying on me now? That's low, even for you. Low. He stepped in, voice rising. You're screwing around, and I'm the bad guy? 10 years, Angela. She slammed the bottle down, water sloshing. You don't get to play victim. You're never here. Work, work, work. I'm drowning, and you don't even see it. Tears welled up, but he wasn't buying it. Not anymore. Drowning, he snarled. You look pretty alive with him. She glared, then softened, voice breaking. I'm just tired, Tom. Okay. Tired of us. He stared at her, the whiskey souring in his gut. Tired. That was her excuse. But he knew better now. Tired was just the tip of her iceberg of lies. Tom didn't say a word after Angela's tired bullshit. He just stared at her, the kitchen lights casting harsh shadows across her tear-streaked face. Her hazel eyes flickered with something. Guilt, maybe, or just defiance. But he was done reading her. 10 years of decoding her moods, her silences, her jabs, and for what? To find out she'd been screwing around with some gym rat named Jake? He turned away, grabbed his whiskey, and downed it, the burn barely touching the fire in his chest. She could cry all she wanted. He wasn't falling for it this time. She didn't follow him when he walked out. He heard her boots scuff the floor, then the fridge door slam. But he kept going, up the stairs to their bedroom. The bed was still made, pristine, mocking him with its normalcy. He sat on the edge, head in his hands, replaying everything. The emails, the security footage, her lame-ass excuses. Tired? She wasn't tired when she was giggling with Jake on their couch. He needed to end this, cut the cord before she twisted it tighter around his neck. But not yet. Not sloppy. He'd do it smart. Next morning, she was gone again, left a note on the counter. At yoga. Back later. Yoga, my ass, he thought. Probably at Jake's, plotting her next move. He didn't text her, didn't call. Instead, he dialed his lawyer, Greg, a shark in a suit who'd handled a buddy's divorce last year. I need options, Tom said, voice low. She's cheating. I want out clean. Greg didn't flinch, asked for proof, timelines, assets. Tom had it all. The footage, the emails, a paper trail he'd started digging up from their joint accounts. Money had been vanishing, small chunks, cash withdrawals she'd blamed on shopping. He wasn't buying it anymore. By afternoon, he'd moved half their savings to a new account she couldn't touch. Greg was drafting papers, legal separation first, divorce to follow. Tom kept it quiet, played the game. When Angela rolled in that night, hair damp like she'd actually hit a class, he was in the living room, sipping a beer, TV on mute. She stopped short, eyeing him. You're calm, she said, suspicious. Am I? He shrugged, gaze fixed on the screen. Maybe I'm just done fighting. Her lips twitched, like she wasn't sure if he was bluffing. Good. Because I'm sick of it too. She dropped onto the couch, too close, her perfume hitting him like a memory he didn't want. We need to talk, Tom. Really talk. Talk, he echoed, turning to her. About what? Jake? How you're tired? She flinched, then exploded. God damn it, stop throwing that in my face. She lunged up, knocking over a lamp. It crashed, glass shattering across the hardwood. You think you're perfect? You're a fucking robot. Work, sleep, repeat. I've been alone in this marriage for years. He stood, slow, towering over her. Alone? You've got Jake to keep you warm. Her hand flew, aiming for his face, but he caught her wrist mid-swing. She yanked free, screaming, You're impossible. Then she grabbed a plate from the coffee table, leftover takeout, and hurled it. It smashed against the wall, soy sauce splattering like blood. He didn't flinch, just watched her unravel, her perfect mask cracking. I'm done, he said, voice ice. You want out? You got it. She froze, panting, eyes wild. You don't mean that. Try me. He stepped past her, heading for the door. She grabbed his arm, nails digging in, tears streaming. Tom, wait, I didn't mean. You'll regret this, she hissed as he pulled free, her tone shifting, dark and sharp. He didn't look back, just walked out into the rain, her threat hanging like smoke. She had no idea he'd already lit the fuse. Tom drove through the rain, wipers slashing at the windshield, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. Angela's last words, "You'll regret this," rang in his ears, a venomous promise he couldn't shake. He'd walked out, left her standing in the wreckage of their living room, but the fight wasn't over. Not by a long shot. He pulled into a gas station lot, killed the engine, and sat there, the storm drowning out the world. His phone buzzed. Greg, the lawyer. Papers are ready. Just say when. Tom didn't reply. He needed more than papers now. He needed to bury her. Back home the next day, the house was quiet, too quiet. Angela hadn't come back, probably crashing at Jake's or some hotel on his dime. Tom didn't care. He was in the study, laptop open, digging deeper into their accounts. That's when the mail slot clattered. He froze, then crossed the room, finding a plain envelope on the mat. No stamp, no address, just his name in block letters. Inside, a USB drive and a note. Watch this. You deserve to know. No signature. His gut twisted. Someone was watching them. He plugged it into the laptop, heart pounding. A video loaded, grainy, shot from a phone. Angela and Jake, tangled up in a motel bed, laughing. Her voice cut through. He's such a fucking sap. 10 years, and he still thinks I'm his angel. Jake's laugh, low and smug. Poor Tommy. Bet he'd shit himself if he knew who I really was. The camera panned, Jake's face clear as day. Tom's breath stopped. Mason, his best friend since college, the guy who'd crashed on their couch after his own divorce, who'd gotten him the gig at the firm. The guy who'd called him, drunk, about the trainer. It was a lie, a setup to throw him off. The room spun. Mason, not some random gym bro, Mason. The betrayal hit like a freight train, smashing through the anger he'd built up for Angela. They'd played him together, a tag team of backstabbing bullshit. He rewatched the clip, every word a knife. Angela giggling about draining their accounts. Mason joking about taking over once Tom was out of the picture. There were bank statements too, screenshots on the drive showing transfers to an account in Mason's name. Tens of thousands, siphoned off over months. They weren't just screwing around, they were screwing him over. Tom's hands shook, not with fear, but with something darker. He'd been planning a clean exit, divorce, split assets, walk away. Not anymore. They'd turned this into a war, and he wasn't about to lose. He grabbed his phone, called Greg. Change of plan, he said, voice steady as steel. I've got proof, adultery, fraud, the works. I want everything. The house, the money, their fucking souls if you can get him. Greg chuckled. That's my boy. Send me what you've got. We'll bleed him dry. Tom hung up, then pulled up the security app. New footage, Angela sneaking in that morning, grabbing files from his desk. She thought she was slick. He smirked. Those were decoys, useless papers he'd planted. The real stuff was locked in a safe she'd never find. He leaned back, the USB drive hot in his hand. Mason's face flashed in his mind. Those late-night beers, the bro hugs, all fake. Angela was a snake, but Mason? That cut deeper. He stood, grabbed his keys. Time to flip the script. They wanted to ruin him? Fine. He'd burn their world to ash first, and they'd never see it coming. Tom didn't waste time. The rain had let up, leaving Seattle slick and gleaming under a gray sky, but the storm inside him was just getting started. He'd spent the morning with Greg, handing over the USB drive, the bank records, the footage, everything. Greg's eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas. This is gold, Tom. Adultery, embezzlement. We've got him by the balls. Divorce papers were filed by noon, with a bonus, a restraining order against Angela and a fraud complaint against Mason. Tom wasn't just walking away, he was swinging. He knew they'd be together, probably plotting their next move, so he tracked them down. Mason's favorite spot was a hipster cafe downtown, all exposed brick and overpriced lattes. Tom parked across the street, watching through the window. There they were, Angela in a tight sweater, Mason in his usual flannel, laughing like nothing was wrong. Her hand rested on his, casual, intimate. Tom's jaw tightened. Time to crash their little party. He walked in, the bell above the door jangling. Heads turned, but he locked eyes with them. Angela's smile dropped. Mason's brows shot up. Tom, she said, voice shaky, pulling her hand back. What are you? Save it. He cut her off, voice low and sharp. He slid into the booth across from them, leaning in. Enjoying your coffee? Hope it's worth the 10 grand you stole last month. Mason smirked, leaning back like he owned the place. What's this, bro? You drunk? Bro. Tom laughed, cold and bitter. That's rich, coming from the guy fucking my wife. And my bank account. Angela's face went red, then white. Tom, listen. No, you listen. He pulled out his phone, played the motel video loud enough for the table next to them to hear. Her voice, he's such a sap, crackled through the speaker. Mason's laugh followed, smug as ever. The cafe went quiet, eyes darting their way. Angela grabbed for the phone, but Tom yanked it back. Too late, Ange. Cops have it. Lawyers too. Mason lunged across the table, knocking over a mug. Coffee splashed, burning Tom's hand, but he didn't flinch. You piece of shit. Mason snarled, grabbing Tom's collar. That's when Tom swung, fist connecting with Mason's jaw, a sickening crack echoing. Mason stumbled back, crashing into a chair. Angela screamed, "Stop it!" But Tom was already up, shoving Mason against the wall. You think you can play me? Tom growled, pinning him. 10 years, you bastard. I trusted you. Mason spat blood, grinning through it. You were too busy with your blueprints to notice her begging for it. Tom's fist reared back again, but a barista yelled, I'm calling the cops. That's when Mason swung, a wild haymaker that clipped Tom's cheek. They grappled, tables tipping, glass shattering. Angela wailed, clutching her purse like a shield. 2 guys from the counter pulled them apart just as sirens wailed outside. Cops burst in, cuffs out. Mason, still thrashing, got hauled off, yelling about assault. Tom didn't resist, just raised his hands, calm as hell. Angela stood there, mascara streaking, staring at him like he'd grown horns. What did you do? She whispered, voice breaking. Exactly what you deserve, he said, wiping blood from his lip. The cops cuffed Mason, reading him his rights. Angela sank into a chair, hands shaking, the cafe buzzing with whispers. Tom walked out, rain starting again, soaking his shirt. Back home, he lit a match, tossed their wedding album into the fireplace. Flames ate the pages, her smile curling into ash. He didn't smile back, just watched it burn. Tom stood by the fireplace, the last embers of their wedding album glowing red before fading to black. The house was silent now. No rain, no Angela, just the faint crackle of dying flames. His cheek throbbed where Mason had clipped him, but he didn't care. The chaos at the cafe had been the spark. Now the fire was spreading, and he was holding the torch. His phone buzzed on the counter. Greg, Mason's booked. Fraud and assault. Angela's served divorce papers. You're golden. Tom didn't reply. He didn't need to. The plan was rolling, and they couldn't stop it. Angela showed up the next morning, banging on the door like a hurricane. He'd changed the locks. Her key didn't work anymore. Through the peephole, he saw her, hair wild, eyes puffy, clutching a duffel bag. Tom, open the damn door, she yelled, voice raw. We need to talk. He didn't move, just watched her unravel. She pounded harder, then sank to the porch, sobbing. I'm sorry, okay? I fucked up. Mason pushed me into it. Please, don't do this. He cracked the door, just enough to see her tear-streaked face. Pushed you, he said, voice flat. You wrote the checks, Ange. You laughed about me in that motel. Don't play victim now. She lunged for the gap, but he slammed it shut, bolting it. Tom, she screamed, fists hammering. You can't take everything. I'll fight this. Her voice broke into a wail, then faded as she stumbled away. He didn't flinch. She'd lost the house. Greg had locked it down with the fraud evidence. The bank accounts were frozen, her name off every dime. She'd get nothing but the clothes in that bag. By afternoon, the fallout hit. Her boss called Tom. Angela's agency had fired her after the cafe scandal went viral. Some hipster had posted the video. Her screaming, Mason swinging, Tom's cold stare. Twitter ate it up, #cheaterwife, trending locally. Friends texted him, shocked, offering beers and you're better off platitudes. He didn't answer. Mason's firm dumped him too. Fraud charges tanked his rep. Tom heard through Greg that Mason was out on bail, But the assault rap wasn't going away. Two liars, stripped bare, clawing at the wreckage. That night, she texted dozens of messages, a desperate flood. I'm sorry. I love you. Don't leave me like this. Then threats. I'll sue. I'll tell everyone you're a monster. He scrolled through, numb. The last one hit different. You'll never know what I kept from you. He paused, thumb hovering. What the hell did that mean? Another bluff? Or something real? He didn't bite, just powered off the phone and tossed it into a drawer. She'd had her secrets. He was done chasing them. He drove to the pier at dusk, the sound stretching out, dark and endless. The air smelled of salt and freedom. He pulled the phone from his pocket, not the cracked one, but a burner he'd picked up weeks ago, before this all blew up. A number was already saved. Claire, a coworker he'd never mentioned to Angela. They'd flirted at the office, nothing serious, until now. He'd kept it locked down, guilt holding him back. Not anymore. He texted, dinner tomorrow? She replied fast, hell yes. Tom leaned against the railing, the phone slipping from his hand into the water below. It sank, ripples spreading, then gone. He didn't need it, didn't need Angela's pleas or Mason's lies. He looked out at the horizon, face calm, a faint smirk tugging his lips. They'd thought he was the sap, the clueless husband. They didn't know he'd been planning his own exit all along. New account, new life, new start. Angela's world was ash now, Mason's too. His? Just beginning. He turned, walked back to the car, and didn't look back.